In this video, we're going to learn about what we call the laws of cosine. So earlier we learned that when we have a side angle pair, or sometimes we call SA pair, we can use the sine laws to find the missing sides and angles. But the problem is when there is no side angle pair, or we cannot make a side angle pair, what we can do? So in this case, we can use this new law, so called the laws of cosine. From this, we can find that the missing side first, and after you find the missing side, then we can either use the cosine law again or the sine law to find the other sides and angles. So we can mainly use these two for the SAS case. That means two sides and the included angle. Included angle means the angle in between the two sides. And then the other case is the SSS case. That means we only know the three sides. We do not know any angles. So what is the cosine law? So the laws of cosine for a triangle with sides ABC and the opposite angles ABC respectively. So that means we have a triangle ABC with opposite sides. That means for angle A, the length opposite to angle A, length is A, opposite to angle B, length is B, opposite to angle C, length is C. So if you have a triangle like that, we have these three results. It's very simple. So what it says that C squared equals from the other two. So that means A squared plus B squared. There's a minus sign. You have to be careful with that. There's a minus sign. So minus 2AB cosine C. So it's a C again. That means this is C, this is C. That's how you remember that. So this is what we call the laws of cosine. So it's a very important result because there are some problems you cannot solve without this result. So we can call laws of cosine. Let's look at two examples and how we can use this idea. So we first solve a SAS triangle. So let's look at this example. So solve the triangle A equal 2, B equal 3 and C equal 50 degree. So let's draw the corresponding triangle. So we have C which is 50 degrees, and then we have side A which is 2, so we're going to call this is angle A, and then we have B equal 3, so this is the angle B, and then C we don't know. So then you can see that if you look at this situation, we cannot use the sine law because we do not know any side angle relation. We know the angle but we don't know the side. So either way, like either, so that means one is missing. So this is the reason why we have to use the cosine law first. So we can say first I use law of cosine to find C, to find the length C. Yeah, so that means we have C squared equal A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine the angle C, and then we're gonna plug in. We know all of these, so it is 2 squared, B is 3, so 3 squared minus 2 times 3 cosine, it is 50 degree, and then we can calculate this, so we're gonna get 13 up minus 12 times you're gonna get you get 0.6 428, and if you simplify you're gonna get 5.2864. so taking the square root, and you can see that C is approximately equals to 2.2992. so we write for up to 4 decimal places because we can use this value for future calculations. Now you have two options. After we know C, now we know all three sides, so either we can use again the cosine law to find A or B, we can do that, Or we can go, because since we know now we know the CC pair. Since we know the CC pair, we can use a sine law now. So we're gonna go that way. I mean, it's easy to simplify. So now using sine law, now using law of sine, because we know a CC pair. So we can write sine A over A equal sine C over C. So if you plug in the values, sine A over A, which is 2, equal sine C, which is 50, divided by the new value. So 2.2992. And then we can use this to find sine A. So sine A is 2 over 2.2992 sine 50, which is approximately equals to 0.6664. So we know this sine value which is less than 1, so that means everything is defined. But we know that there are two angles between 0 and 180. So we're going to find those two angles just taking the inverse. So that means we have A1, the first angle, which is simply sine inverse, the value 0.6664. So using a calculator, you can see that this is 41.79. Or to find the other value, which is I'm going to call A2, which is 180 minus that value, 41.79. So which is approximately 138.21. And now there's a problem, because we know that we already have one angle which is 50 degree. So that means there cannot be angle this big, because if you add these two, this is more than 180. That means this is not a possible case. So the reason is, since 50 degree plus A2 is bigger than 180, so that means there cannot be more angle. So that's the reason, it's big, more than 180. So that is not possible. So that means there's only one angle, 41.79. Now we can use this angle to find the rest. So now B, which is 180 minus those two angles C and A1, so it is 180 minus 50 minus 41.79. So if you simplify, you're going to get 82.21. So we get all the values. So thus we can write the final solution as A equal 2, B equal 3, C equal 2.3. Now we can round it to one decimal place. And then A equal 71.79. Then B equal 88.21 and C equal 50. So that's the solution. So let's look at now. Look at the situation where we have only three sides. So in this case, what we have is we only have three sides. So what is the smallest integer triangle that we can have? So you can see that you cannot have a triangle with sides 1, 2, 3. The reason is, when you add the first two, is match with the third one. That means it's going to be like a line like that. 1, 2, and 3. So there's no triangle. So the smallest one we can go is 2, 3, 4. So let's do that. So solve the triangle A equal 2, B equal 3, and C equal 4. So let's draw the triangle first. So we have A equal 3, B equal, A equal 2 actually. So A equal 2, B equal 3, and then C, which is 4. So, and then the corresponding angle, this is angle A, this is angle B. So your goal is to find C. You can find anything, but we're going to go with C. So let's write the formula. So we're going to say use law of cosine to find C. So we have C squared equal a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. This says that cosine c is equals to a squared plus b squared minus c squared divided by 2ab. And now we can plug in the values here. So we know the a equal 2, so it is 2 squared, b equal 3, 3 squared minus c is 4. So 4 squared divided by, we have 2 times 3. So if you simplify, you're going to get negative 3 over 12, which simplifies to negative 1/4. Now just take it inverse, we can find c. So that means c is simply cosine inverse negative 1/4. So it's a negative value, that means it's going to be obtuse angle. So that means it is simply 180 minus cosine inverse 1/4. You can do that considering only the positive value. This is a negative, this is positive, this is 1 minus, or just use the calculator to get the value. So once you do that, you're going to get approximately 104.48 degrees. So that is the value of c. But after you know the value of c, then we can use sine law to find one more angle. So let's do that. To find a, now we can either find a or b. So let's say let's find b. So to find b, we can write sine b over b equal the known one, sine c over c, and then we can see that we know this pair, so we can plug in the values there, and we also know b. So only thing that we don't know is sine b. From this we can find b. So so this says that sine b over 3 equal sine, we find this value 104.48 divided by 4, and this gonna give you that sine b is equals to 3/4 sine 104.48, and if you simplify you're gonna get 0.7262, and now we're gonna take the inverse, and again we know that if you look at the graph of sine, so it's gonna go like that. So that means between 0 and 180 there are two values which gonna give you the 0.7 number. So there are two angles, one is here, one is there. So those are two angles we're gonna find. So I'm gonna call b1 and b2. So b1 is simply the inverse of this one, so it is sine inverse 0.7262. So it is roughly 46.57, and then or to find the other value b2, which is simply 180 minus that angle, the answer. So that means this is going to be 133.43, and then you can see that we already have an angle which is 104. So that means there's no way we have another angle which is more than 100. So I mean that's not a possibility. So that means there's only one possibility is 46.57, and then we can use that to calculate the other value. So that means the angle A is simply 180 minus B minus C. So if you subtract, you're going to get 180 minus 46.57 minus 104.48. So if you simplify, you're going to end up getting 28.95. And then we can see that we knew all three sides, but now we found all three angles. This is how we use the cosine law to solve certain triangles in the two cases, SAS and SSS.